Hey guys, this is Invisible Jung over here, and welcome back to another video. So, every Survivor players would make mistakes when playing the game, and even the top tier survivors would make mistakes in ranked or in competitions. And I've been playing this game for a while, and even till now, I'm still a terrible kiter and I make lots of mistakes as a survivor. However, while mistakes such as having a bad kiting performance or failing rescues are understandable, there are some basic mistakes that can be frustrating to watch as a survivor. So, in this video, I'll include the top 10 basic mistakes newer survivors would make while playing. Before I start, just keep in mind these actions might be necessary in higher tier of gameplay depending on the specific situation, but most of the times there's still mistakes, so if you're new at this game, try not to make the following mistakes while playing the game. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and here goes the top 10 survivor beginner mistakes that I see a lot. Number 1. Running around the empty map and not decoding. The main goal of the survivors is to decode all ciphers and get out through the exit gate. So naturally, the faster the ciphers are decoded, the better. However, one common mistake for beginners are they would run around a map and not decode, or they decide to open a treasure chest or do something else first before decoding. In some cases, it will make sense to not decode. For example, when hunters just eliminated a survivor and they may teleport onto you, or if you are in half health and have to heal up first before decoding. However, most of the times, it would be better to just focus on decoding, because the faster all ciphers are done, the bigger chance that more survivors will escape. So, it would be better to try and minimize the time running around the map and put the main priority on decoding to increase your chances on winning. Number 2. Vaulting right behind a hunter. This is a common survivor mistake, and that is vaulting a pallet or window right behind the hunter and getting terror shocked as a result. For those of you who don't know, if you get hit by the hunter while you're vaulting, you would get terror shocked where you'll immediately be knocked down unless you're a mercenary. Remember, never vault over a window or pallet in full health if the hunter is within hit range right behind you, as you're risking getting downed by the hunter immediately. Instead, if you feel like it is not safe to vault, just circle around and wait for the hunter to hit you once before vaulting over, so you can drag a full distance ahead while the hunter is stuck in attack recovery. By purposely getting hit once first, it would buy your teammates more decoding time. Number 3. Not using items. Lots of survivors have items that will help them to kite for a longer time, such as Perfumer's Perfume, First Officer's Watch, Acrobat's Bombs. These items are crucial for the survivors, because in the current meta, survivors without items would go down very fast. So, how the item being used are critical. However, some of the newer survivors don't use their items despite in grave danger and having lots of opportunities to do so. As a result, they would go down very fast early into kiting. So here's the thing, how long the first kite lasts usually determines the game's result in higher tier. So, the survivors would use up their items to kite for as long as they can. Therefore, when in danger of being hit, it would be better to use the items, rather than, getting sent off with an unused flare gun. Number 4. Detention primed. So, for all of you who play survivors, I'm sure something like this has happened to you before. Yeah, that is a very common play that occurs a lot in lower tier gameplay, and that is priming detention for your teammates. In Survivor's quick messages, there's one message called Cipher Machine Primed, and that is when the survivor's last cipher is up to 99.9%. Because every survivor carries a personal trait called Borrowed Time, And borrowed time is the moment when all ciphers are complete. Survivors will have an accelerated speed for 5 seconds and instantly recover half of their health. So when the last cipher is 99.9% done, the survivors will typically wait till the hunter lands the hit on the survivor before they finish that last 0.1%. So the survivor that got down on the ground can immediately get back up. What is called priming detention is when a survivor completes the last cipher when the teammates being chased is within hit range of the hunter, since almost all hunter carries the persona called Detention. And Detention is a persona that lasts for 120 seconds the moment all ciphers are completed. During Detention, any survivor in full health would go down in one hit apart from the mercenary, who can last for 30 seconds more. Anyways, if the cipher machines are complete before a survivor got hit by the hunter, that survivor will immediately go down at the beginning of Detention, which puts the rest of the survivors in danger. So, when your survivor teammates are being chased by the hunter, most of the time it would be better to wait till that survivor got hit before finishing that one last cipher. There are exceptionals to this case, as finishing the cipher right after the survivor stunned the hunter or vault through window are also good timing, which coordinated survivor teams would communicate with their teammates. But when you are just playing with randoms, just play it safe and wait till they got hit or until they signal they're safe through quick messages. Number 5. Being too aggressive in disrupting and stunning the hunter. Throughout the game, hunters would chase the survivors, tie them onto a balloon, and place them on a rocket chair. And survivors have lots of ways to disrupt the hunter, from stunning the hunter when they're chasing someone with an enchantress or forward, rescuing someone off the balloon with a cowboy, to body blocking to protect a survivor. A well-timed disruption is actually very beneficial to the survivors. For example, when the cowboy managed to lasso a survivor off the balloon, this would allow the survivor to kite the hunter for around 10 to 20 more seconds. Or for another example, when a survivor would be eliminated with one more chair, and with the last cipher almost being complete, it makes complete sense for the survivors to body block and to save that survivor to delay time. However, some survivors would be too aggressive in disrupting. For example, when an enchantress would follow the hunter for a long time during the game to keep on stunning the hunter, and won't leave even in half health. And this is a huge mistake, as while they are disrupting the hunter, that is one person less decoding. Also, there might be a chance that they would risk getting down and chaired by the hunter instead. So that is why survivors should not be too aggressive in stunning or disrupting the hunter, and only stun and disrupt when needed, such as in the endgame when they are racing to prime the cipher. Number 6. Rescuing in half health. So, why is rescuing in half health such a terrible idea and deemed as a mistake for the survivors? Yeah, self-explanatory. Honestly, it makes no sense for a survivor to rescue in half health when the hunter is camping, as the survivors would go down in one hit. So, obviously, it's just not going to work. The only time it makes sense to rescue in half health is if you have a guaranteed stun on the hunter, like the coordinator firing a flare gun, or if you can tank an extra hit like the mercenary. Otherwise, don't rescue in half health when the hunter is camping. It is highly just not going to work. Number 7. Rescuing without Tide Turner. Tide Turner is another persona that the majority of the survivors would bring during a game. Tide Turner is a persona that can be activated only once, and after a rescuer rescues a survivor, it grants the rescuer and the survivor being rescued 20 seconds of invincibility. During these 20 seconds, both survivors won't go down, and any damage that are done to them during these 20 seconds will apply to them after the end of the 20 seconds. And this persona is carried by the majority because it is very useful when rescuing. With this persona, even if the survivor being rescued got hit immediately they got off the chair, Tide Turner will ensure that the survivor will be able to survive for at least 20 seconds off the chair. Furthermore, that survivor can also take this opportunity to run further away from the rocket chair so the hunter will also need more time to put that survivor back on the rocket chair. However, some survivors would rescue without tide turner, but if the survivors rescue without tide turner, then the time delayed from the rescue would be at least 20 seconds less. Therefore, if you didn't bring tide turner, don't rescue and let those with tide turner rescue, unless there's no other option available. Number 8. Rescuing teammates immediately being chaired or immediately over half chair time. This is another common mistake that I see, which is rescuing immediately after the survivor is chaired, because a survivor can last on the chair for 60 seconds. And when a survivor got rescued before half chair time, regardless when they're rescued, the rocket chair countdown will be right over half, which is 30 seconds when they got chaired for a second time. Similarly, when a survivor got rescued after half chair time, regardless when they're rescued, they will be eliminated once they got chaired again. So, rescuing within 5 seconds after the survivor got chaired and rescuing right before the survivor is over half chair time would both result in the survivor being just over half chair time when chaired for a second time. Therefore, it would be far better to wait till when the survivor's chair time is just about to get over half, because by waiting for around 20 seconds or more, it gives your teammate 20 more seconds to focus on decoding when the hunter is camping. And a similar problem also applies to rescuing immediately after half chair time. This hurts the survivor for a similar reason, as rescuing right before the survivor got eliminated and rescuing after half chair time both will result the survivor being rescued will be eliminated immediately in one chair. Therefore, when trying to rescue a survivor, if it is clear you can't rescue before half chair time, then it would be far better to wait out and wait for a longer time to buy the teammates more decoding time. Combining this mistake with number 7 is one of the worst things that can happen, as when a survivor on the chair got rescued and hit immediately without tide turner, then this actually accelerates their time of being eliminated, which is why rescuing with tide turner whenever possible and not rescuing immediately are both crucial. Number 9. Playing their survivors wrongly. What I mean by playing their survivors wrongly means not playing the survivor how it intended should be, as a result not maximizing that survivor's full potential. So, a survivor is normally split into 4 categories, which are the rescuer, decoder, container, and assist. And while every survivor may have to rescue and decode depending on the specific situation, typically whenever a survivor goes down first, the rescuer would be the first person going to rescue, because rescuers such as the forward, mercenary, and gravekeeper typically have built-in abilities that will help them in rescuing. Because in the current meta, there are lots of hunters that can successfully camp and prevent a rescue, such as the Ripper, Violinist, or Guard 26, and these hunters can easily do a successful camp or double knockdown on the rescuer. A double knockdown is when a rescuer rescued the survivor with tide turner, and both survivors ended up getting hit and going down after their tide turner ends. And a double knockdown is a huge setback to the survivors, because when the rescuer goes down, then there are only 2 people left decoding. Additionally, the survivors still need to be rescued. Therefore, it just makes the most sense to let the rescuer go to rescue, especially rescuers typically have a slower decoding speed than normal. So if they go to rescue first, then it would ensure that the more faster decoders will still be on the ciphers. So if you're a decoder, just stick to decoding whenever someone goes down first, unless there's no other options available. Number 10. Being too greedy in endgame. Some survivor players like to make a higher risk for a higher reward, which is one of the beauties of the game, whether to play it safe or make a higher risk for a potentially higher reward. However, being greedy in endgame normally is not recommended, as one common and the most frustrating moves I encounter while playing Survivor are survivors who dive into rescue when all gates are open during detention. And this is a huge mistake. As I mentioned, most hunters would carry detention, so every survivor other than a mercenary who can tank a full hit would go down immediately. So when detention is on for the hunter, the survivors should just escape and get out as fast as possible. as risking to rescue while detention is active is highly not recommended, because if the rescuer got spotted by the hunter, then they would go down in one hit too. There was a game I played where me and my other 3 teammates all survived until all ciphers are done, but after I went down, all my other 3 teammates charged in to rescue me one by one in front of detention, and that's how a guaranteed free escape win turned into 4 kills to the hunter. So, I mean, it does make sense to risk at times. For example, if the survivor is chaired near the exit gate and detention is over, but if the survivor is chaired far away from the exit gate during detention, just get out immediately and don't risk turning a win into a draw or a draw into a loss. So this is the end of this video, and playing as a survivor and getting good isn't easy, as I'm still trying to get good as a survivor. But by recognizing what mistakes you make and not doing these mistakes, you will be on the path to become stronger. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video and found it useful. And if you found my guide useful and you want to see more videos from me in the future, then please go and subscribe and like this video, as your support actually keeps me going. So anyways guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next video. See ya!